Hi everyone, my name's Kelly Harrison and I'm the founder of Languages Roadshow. Welcome to the course Integrate to Maximise, a course designed to help you implement CLIL pedagogy or Content and Language Integrated Pedagogy at your school. Helping schools get started with CLIL pedagogy has become a real baby for me. And as you can see, I'm having another baby quite soon, and most likely by the time you're accessing these videos, that baby will already be here. So I'll be sure to share some photos in the Facebook group for this course. But let's get on with the reason why you're here today. Not only to learn about CLIL, but to actually start using CLIL with your students. CLIL is a cross-curricular approach in which language is taught through content and content is taught through language. CLIL is a relative of immersion and also content-based teaching, but CLIL is set apart by the flexibility that the model offers. CLIL transformed the way that I approach languages teaching. My students were more engaged, they were more confident in the language, and more of them chose to continue with their languages study. The aim of this course is for you to deliver your first CLIL lessons and a mini unit so that you can start to see your students using the target language more proficiently, more spontaneously, and in more authentic ways. So I'll give you a bit of background now about how I've come to be here talking to you about content and language integrated learning. I'm a high school Japanese teacher by trade, and I taught at a variety of schools in Brisbane for a number of years before relocating to northern New South Wales and starting Languages Roadshow. At my last school in Brisbane, I spent about 3 years experimenting with CLIL pedagogy, and this culminated in me launching a 1-year program which was Year 10 Japanese Media Studies. In this subject, Japanese Media Studies, we covered the Australian curriculum for media arts and Japanese within the one timetabled line. The course was very successful in terms of student results, student retention into senior, and also teacher satisfaction for me. But I didn't just rock up to work one day and decide to run a bilingual program. It all started with one single CLIL lesson, which was a very low stakes craft lesson I ran with Year 7 on their very first day of high school. That cherry blossom collage lesson that I ran with the Year 7s changed my perspective on languages teaching forever. Most of the girls in that class had not studied any Japanese before, and I spoke completely in the target language in that lesson. Not only did the students cope, they absolutely thrived on that cognitive challenge, and that shattered any misconceptions I'd had around not wanting to use too much target language in case it was too overwhelming for the students. The feedback I got from that lesson completely propelled me forward in terms of experimenting with CLIL. I was shown time and time again in different experiments I ran that not only could kids handle more use of the target language, in fact, they craved it. So I'm on a mission to try and help as many teachers as possible to experience that magic that comes with being in a CLIL classroom. A place where, as I said, kids thrive on cognitive challenge. A place where they beam with pride when they realise that they have communicated both authentically and in a meaningful way in a language that may not have been their own, but now is. This is one of the main drivers behind this course for Languages Roadshow, to create a community of teachers who have a group of people to support them on this process, and also resources from me to support them in achieving their goals with CLIL. Languages Roadshow has allowed me to work with a wide variety of schools and teachers on the topic of CLIL, through the conference events that we run, through personalised in-school workshops, and also me consulting direct to schools who are getting started with CLIL pedagogy and CLIL programs. And I want to take a moment here to make a clear distinction between those two things, CLIL programs and CLIL pedagogy. Using CLIL at your school does not have to mean that you're implementing a full school-wide immersion program. And whilst we will look at some of those larger scale options for CLIL at your school, equally we'll be looking at starting small with more minor projects, and also ways that CLIL can be used to enhance what you're already doing at your school. At some point between now and delivering your first CLIL lesson, it would be great to jot down a few notes about your goals, not only for this course, but for CLIL in general. There are some questions in the workbook to help guide you. For example, what's in it for your students? What's in it for your school? And most importantly, what's in it for you? If you're here in this course, it's most likely because you're self-motivated and interested in learning more about CLIL. So I want to reassure you that CLIL is not another reinvention of the teaching wheel, another framework that requires you to completely rewrite all of your unit plans for no actual difference in terms of what you do in the classroom or outcomes for students. That is not what CLIL is about. CLIL is about doing things differently. It requires a shift in thinking in terms of languages teaching in Australia. And I think that's really exciting. So I want you to take some time to think about why that's exciting for you.